Are you putting the backdrop? Good evening, friends. Welcome to another session of the story of the frontline warriors on the group AIE, Association of International Educators, and also a Parigraph Foundation warmly welcomes each one of you to join in today's conversation with Lieutenant Colonel Venkat Raman. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Namaskar.
Good evening.
आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है.
Thank you.
And thank you for giving us your time and being able to schedule this session. तो आज के सेशन के लिए आप सर आपको मैं थोड़ा सा बताना चाहूँगी. एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंटरनेशनल एजुकेटर्स का जो ग्रुप है, लास्ट ईयर हमने 5 अप्रैल को शुरू किया था कोरोना के टाइम पे कि एक दूसरे को थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट हो जाए. और आज ये ग्रुप चलते चलते कुछ 100 सिटीज एंड 52 कंट्रीज के लोग इससे जुड़ गए हैं.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So there are people of all kinds. There are teachers, there are educators, there are army men. आप बस army men की कमी थी, अब वो भी पूरी हो गई with the army joining in. We already have a couple of police officials from the Mumbai police. And आज एक आर्मी मैन को इनवाइट करके हम मेरे को तो बहुत घबराहट हो रही थी because you know army men are such meticulous and such perfectionist in all the work that they do. तो हमको ये लग रहा था कि हम आपसे कॉन्वर्सेशन में कैसे क्या क्वेश्चन क्या बात करेंगे, लेकिन एज आई स्टार्टेड इंटरेक्टिंग विद यू और आप जैसे आप बता रहे थे योर जर्नी, तो लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम देयर. Your journey as an army man, as a teacher. Let's start it from there, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and warm welcome to everybody also. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here in your forum. It's a great pleasure and privilege.
Thank you.
In fact, my wife told me just down the sidelines कि थोड़ा smile कर लेना, नहीं तो लोग घबरा जाएंगे. So anyways.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
So whatever, about my journey now. Yes, it's been a very exciting journey all these years. I'm 60 today, 60 plus, going on 61. And I joined the army. I was lucky to get into the National Defense Academy, Rashtriya Raksha Academy, जो पुणे में है, खड़कवासला में. Inter-services organization, training organization, the only inter-services organization in the country. Yeah. And we had a wonderful training. I can tell you a lot about the NDA. It's called the Cradle for Leadership, and it was of course the I would say the then government whose vision brought this about, and with a lot of donation from various countries. It's one of the most I would say, even today if you go and see the NDA, it's a monument in excellence, as they say. The Sudan block, the science block, the officers' mess, which can seat 300 plus people. I mean, all the battalions. We stay in 5-star accommodation, and you must be wondering, कि officer बनने वाले हैं फौजी और फिर 5-star. No, the point is that it's about quality, it's about standard, and maintaining standards. And in that 5-star accommodation, life is very, very tough. I can't tell you how tough the training was. There were a couple of instances where during the training, I had to actually hold myself. Initially, I felt like running away on a couple of days because the training was so tough. It's not about the physical training alone. It's about the mental toughness. It's about the mental pressure, the kind of pressure that you have when you have to finish your food in 5 minutes and then go for classes after 2 hours of non-stop physical activity, and then the whole day goes in such a blur that the moment you even at 10 o'clock when it lights out, the moment you touch your bed, you're asleep. You're that exhausted. It's like that. And standards, like I said, were very high. There were cabin cupboards, there were kit musters, there were many ways in which your ability to keep your environment clean, your standards of discipline were severely tested. I can in fact go on for hours only on the National Defense Academy, but then I don't have that much of time, so I leave it there. I can only say that I was fortunate to be from the NDA, to pass out from the NDA. Then of course there was training in the Indian Military Academy at Dehradun. This was the army training at Dehradun. Again, very tough military training. After which I got my PIP. I became a second lieutenant, and I was commissioned into the Corps of Engineers. I was fortunate again, having studied well. I had a good academic record. They gave me the Corps of Engineers, and I was posted in an engineer regiment in Allahabad. That was my first posting, and the first posting itself, I started off with a with a obstacle course competition, and that was the next day after. Uh, I mean, preparing for the obstacle competition. The next day after, I had my welcome dinner at the mess, which went on till 2 a.m. And the next morning, 6 o'clock, I had to start practicing for my obstacle competition. So life is very rigorous in the army, very tough. You learn discipline the hard way, because there's always the fear of punishment. But then I would say sometimes that is necessary, because the requirement in the army is very different. Because you're being trained to lead men to death, and that's a very different requirement from what it is in the civies. So that is why the stress on discipline, the stress on the fear of punishment, especially for the Jawans.
Right, right.
And as officers, we have to inculcate that spirit of discipline in them. So we have to set an example. We have to set the standards for them. And before I tell my Jawan to dig a trench, I have to be able to dig that trench better than him. If at
Right,
all I have
absolutely.
to lead my Jawan up for an attack, I have to be the first man to go, and then they have to follow me. It's not
So
the
do
other
you,
way around. So
would you like to share an incident, an attack, or any incident when serving the country and
ah,
serving the nation? What I'm seeing today is the youth, the 20-year-old is losing their trust, is losing their faith on the whole system. And when the whole idea is to tell them that, guys, there is still a lot of devotion that goes to protect the country, and the country is beyond the beyond any party or beyond any politics. It's the country. So what is a message you would like to give to these youth who is losing one interest? Because when you ask them, do you want to join army, they say, नहीं, corporate की job better है, army क्यों join करनी है ना? अभी ट्रेंड एक थोड़ा सा, एज आई एम सीइंग, आई डू अ लॉट ऑफ करियर काउंसलिंग, आई सी कि वो ट्रेंड नीचे जा रहा है. So there is something that you would like to share with the country's youth and the other people who are seeing about an incident or uh,
certainly. As far as incidents concerning any hostilities are concerned, or active contact with the enemy are concerned, I would say I was unfortunate not to have any such interaction with the enemy. But certainly, I have been at the line of control. I have been on active service. I have been in areas which have prepared for war during Op Parakram, during the Siachen conflict, during the Kargil conflict. We were all deployed during the IPKF. We were all deployed in our areas. I was in Jaisalmer. So, and we were ready for war, as they say. So the kind of preparation that goes into into getting ready to mobilize, as they say, there's a lot of effort and there's a lot of planning that goes on. In fact, the word strategos, ma'am, it's a Greek word which is known as military general. So strategy is derived from the military. The
okay.
entire planning is derived from the military. And I would just want to send a small message to the youth today that yes, money is important, but then there's a lot which is much more important than money. Man does not live by bread alone. I'm not asking you to say, talk about Desh Bhakti. And something I'm reminded of when I was interviewed in the NDA. Many of us were asked the same question: why do you want to join the army and the forces? And some of us said, देश के लिए मरना चाहता हूँ, मर मिटना चाहता हूँ. But then my friend had told me कि this is an answer that maybe I mean often told by people, and people may not really mean it from the heart. So I told them that look, I am joining the army because I want to lead a disciplined and a structured life. And I
Correct.
also want a lot of adventure. I enjoy adventure. I enjoy seeing places. So maybe that answer they felt was nice. But above all, it's about discipline, leading a disciplined life. In Singapore today, you have 2 years of compulsory military life,
Yes, yes.
military training. Similarly, in Israel, I mean, in a country like ours, which is a democracy and which is composed of so many states, it may take some time and a lot of resistance in getting this done. But believe me, at least if students join the National Cadet Corps (NCC) in colleges, I think they a lot of discipline will be instilled into them. You can ask the NCC students as to why it's important and how much they learned from their training in the NCC.
And in fact, what I relate to today in the COVID times and in this pandemic time, the rape case has increased, the domestic violence has increased, a lot of sexual abuse has increased. And I feel that if any, whether it's a boy or a girl, doesn't matter, because as a citizen of India, each one must be protected. If they would have had a particular age or particular years of training, at least that would be a little bit more to their self defense. Now what I feel is, like, if somebody comes and holds me, I cannot retaliate back because I'm not trained. My body cannot take the force, or my body cannot take the action, right? So rightly what you said, but so do you think in your tenure, sometimes this question arised that at least in the education for 2 years, इसको थोड़ा सा कंपल्सरी करके बच्चों को एक कंपल्सरी डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म सिखाना बहुत जरूरी है? ऐसे कभी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स या डिबेट्स आई थी आपके टेन्योर में?
I am very strongly in favor of introducing military discipline and training, at least physical training, as a part of the curriculum, both in schools and colleges.
जी.
And it can easily be worked out, at least as a subject, or compulsory NCC for all students, so that they undergo at least 2 camps in a year minimum of
जी.
7 days each, because that is where they will learn the basic lessons of camaraderie, of bonding with their friends. Today, I'm telling you, my NDA course mates, we were 300 of us. Today, all 300 of us are on a WhatsApp group. Even today, we exchange jokes
Yeah.
and we send pictures of each other having a drink in the evening.
Yeah,
That's the
right.
kind of bonding we have.
Correct.
So I believe that this happens only when you've rolled in mud together, when you've gone through tough times together. And this is very necessary. It should be a part of the curriculum.
Right. So I do understand that this is been a very strong times, but this brings me to another question, that now it is the corona times, and while we all, everybody's, the reason we started the story of the frontline warriors was because everybody was doing a blame game. Everybody is doing a blame game. X person is blaming the Y, and the Y is blaming the A, and all of that. But it is only the army which never blames anybody. And in this corona time, how is the protocol, the vaccination, the protocol followed by the army, which is an example, because we never hear that इतने, कभी मैंने जवानों को कोरोना की डेथ से शहीद होते नहीं सुना इतने 18 महीने में. तो वो जो एक वो डिसिप्लिन जो फॉलो करते हैं, आई थिंक इट्स हाई टाइम वी इंडियंस शुड लर्न समथिंग from our Indian Army Jawans in terms of following a protocol. Yes, sir.
I'm proud to say, ma'am, to your question, that even during the second wave of COVID this year, the academies were training 100%. There was no lockdown in the academy.
Yeah.
Units, battalions were training 100%. And that's because of discipline, like you said.
Ji.
Everyone was maintaining social distancing, everyone was using a double mask, everyone was using sanitizers, everyone was checking temperatures. All protocols were being followed seriously. Unfortunately, in the civil, people take it easy. That's the problem.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is the basic difference. again, I want to, I mean, because my daughter's in Singapore right now, she's already kind of settled down there, and we've gone and visited her a couple of times. We've seen the kind of the country that they are. Their size is smaller than Mumbai, and they are number three as far as GDP is concerned in the world.
Yes.
They're several miles ahead of us in GDP. And why are they like that? It's all because of discipline. It's one country, one man changed the entire country in Singapore. And today you can go and see it to believe
Right.
it. So I think we can draw our lessons from there. And seriously, in the units, it's business as usual, but with safety measures and protocols. So I think if safety measures and protocols are adhered to seriously, there's no reason why we can't carry out our business as usual.
Right. Right. So, when you say that you were a civil engineer in the army, I would maybe if you could elaborate. There are so many hundreds and thousands of engineers who have come out this year and last year, and they are jobless, and they don't get the best deserved job. But none of them are looking as joining army as an option. How would you like to encourage that youth that guys, there is army also as an option? When a civil engineer, I mean, to be honest, I also don't know the relation how we can put it up. So if you could elaborate a little bit
Sure.
on
मैम, आपने तो मेरी मन की बात कह दी, क्योंकि I've been recently doing a small program. I've been
that.
going to colleges in Mumbai, degree colleges, and
Ji,
talking to students, of course pro bono. I've been telling them about life in the army and the values that I've imbibed. Something
ji,
I've been doing it for the last 2-3 months, and I've got a overwhelming response from the students. I'm doing it with IDF, Indian Development Foundation. The reason I'm telling you is that students are very very enthusiastic, and you have to just instill that idea into them. And as far as getting jobs is concerned, my second part would be the army is the best place for them, and therefore anything about the army you want to ask me, I can share the information with them. In fact, they don't even need to ask me. They can go to Google and find out everything about the army. Join indianarmy.nic. That's it. Everything is there. So I'm saying, if people want to know more about the army, just Google. And then also, if you seriously want to know more, there are so many counselors who are ex-army people. I can lead you to them. I know 50 of them. In fact, all my course mates will help. So the point is that people need to know more about the army. The civil, unfortunately, does not know much about the army, because the army also keeps a cloak of confidentiality. But certainly, as far as joining the army, what benefits are there, that is public. So I think there should be more people talking about the army like you, and spreading the good word. I'm okay to do some sessions with you on this also, if you
sure,
want.
sir. We will look forward to that. We will
Sure.
absolutely look forward to that. Absolutely, we would. So, any uh, particular incident that you feel is the, or any particular notion that the civilians carry कि आर्मी में क्यों नहीं जाना? नाउ दैट यू आर टॉकिंग टू थाउजेंड्स ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स, उनको क्या लगता है कि क्यों क्यों वो ऑप्शन नहीं ले रहे?
दो चीजें:
जी.
तनख्वाह कम,
हम्म.
दूसरी रिस्क फैक्टर,
जी.
अपनी जान की. So I agree to both, meaning it's natural for a human being to want more money, and
Yeah.
B, to protect his life, his or her life.
जी.
But I want to tell you, and the same question was posed to me also when I joined the NDA. And I told my friend that, look, if I go on the road and some car comes and runs over me, what about that?
क्या कर लोगे?
I'm walking on the road, it's raining, and suddenly the branch of a tree falls on me. What do I
Right.
do?
What do
So,
I
I
do?
mean, if you're going to look at the risk factor, let me tell you again that when the soldier goes for war, he goes fully protected with gear, he goes with weapons, he goes with ammunition, and he's got a very clear target ahead of him. Kisko marna hai.
जी.
So, the point is, I would go to such an extent to say it's safer to be in the army than in civil.
हम्म.
So, therefore, what I'm saying is, we take calculated risks, ma'am.
जी.
Of course, when it's a question of all-out war, and when it's a question of capturing the posts, then we forget everything. तब वो भूत सवार आ जाता है ऊपर सर पे. That is different. But then we definitely follow certain rigorous standards, protocols, and safety measures everywhere. So the point of saying कि डर लगता है, तो डर अगर लगता है तो आप आपको हर चीज में डर लगेगा.
जीना ही बंद कर देगा इंसान.
Exactly. The second part about money, like I said, materialism is good, but up to a certain extent. I'm getting 30,000 today. Am I happy with that? No, I want 50,000. Am I getting 50,000 today? I'm not happy. Have I got a Maruti car today? No, I'm not happy. I want a Honda. So that is endless. If I have one flat, I want two flats. If I want a 2 BHK, I want a 4 BHK. So where does it end?
Right.
And that mad rush and lure for money has spoiled the generation. I'm sorry to say
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially what I find is this whole new culture where the addiction is picking up so much in the Generation Z. They are so much into addiction. They are into escapism. They do not want to face the reality. They forever, like you said, कि desire उनकी list खत्म ही नहीं होती है. But I'm wondering, as a educator, yourself and myself, what role can we play in trying to get these guys on little bit that, it just wake up. It's a wake up call. Face your
So,
reality, get down to your little bit of aims in life. They're in just such a fantasy bubble, and the only thing they say is escapism and then addiction. Yeah. So is addiction also a problem in the army?
no, not at all. Not
Not
in
at
the
all.
army. Certainly not
Yeah.
in the, as far as the soldiers are concerned. As far as the children are concerned, definitely addiction uh, could be there in some children. I can't negate it. That depends on the company they pick up. There are many children of Fauji's now living in cities, so I can't say that they don't come in contact with people around them, and all Fauji children are not very noble. Certainly not. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that as far as Fauj is concerned, there is again the fear of discipline, and therefore it is restricted. It is not like in civil, and certainly it's not like in the rich communities and in Bollywood,
Yeah.
not at all. So the point again I'm trying to make, what can we do as educators? Number one, lead by example, because today's generation has got enough of gyan on the internet and Google. They
Right.
don't want more gyan.
Right.
So we need to lead by example. We need to show what we are. Number two, wherever it is possible, if we talk to them informally, just you can tell them gently that, look, beta, this is what you can also think of doing. So it's better to do it, gently rather than pushing them into it,
Yeah.
because teenagers are rebellious by nature.
Right.
So it's better to do it gently.
Right. Right. So also this we are hearing that the army is building roads and bridges in Arunachal Pradesh, where the China, that whole problem is created. So also how army manages or builds the COVID hospital. This whole building of, like you said, you yourself are a civil engineer. So this whole building concept where you have to create the bridges and the roads so that the civilians and the protection of the country can be done. So
Okay.
how would you like to relate that to the youngsters, that it's like you will be able to show your passion on in the action?
Okay. So I've been, like I said, fortunate to be in the Corps of Engineers, and I'm a civil engineer and I'm tech structures myself. Uh, we have an organization called the Military Engineer Services. I've served in that for 10 years. I've been a designer myself. I've done structural design in the chief engineer's office, where we plan, we design drawings, architectural and structural, for all structures, and we also execute the structures through the garrison engineers in all cantonments. It's a very, very structured process. As far as building in, like you said, Arunachal, high altitude areas, in Ladakh and all that, that again, we have special structures, which can withstand earthquake, which can withstand snow, prefabricated structures, as they say. And then we make use of local material like stones to build structures quickly there. We also use something called Bailey bridges, which are steel bridges which can come up very quickly. So all this is done by the not just the military engineer services basically does helps in or constructs buildings in peacetime. As far as wartime or operational area bridges are construction is concerned, it's the army, the Corps of Engineers, who takes it on in the
Right.
high altitude areas. We, the Corps of Engineers, do it. And like I said, I was myself in Sikkim. I was at a height of 15,000 feet, where I constructed bunkers, underground emplacements. We
Yeah.
use stones to make those underground emplacements. So that's how we do it. And as far as bridges are concerned, there are bridges which are constructed, which are permanent, which are semi-permanent, and which are temporary. And temporary bridges are constructed mostly in the monsoons, in the landslide prone areas, or during war. Whereas permanent bridges are constructed mostly by the MES. The roads in the operational areas are constructed by the BRO, Border Roads Organization. So we have very structured units and organizations to take care of these uh, uh, constructions.
Right. And what about the COVID hospitals? Are there some particular, like Abhi in Mumbai, you have the Nesco ward and all these, centers created. So have there been certain particular hospitals set up in these difficult time during the pandemic for the army personnels?
Okay, every cantonment has a military hospital depending on the
Right.
number of people in that cantonment.
Right.
Okay, even in the forward areas, we have something called base hospitals to cater to the troops in the forward areas. So during the COVID, every hospital had COVID wards segregated, because even during normal times, during non-COVID times, we have people or patients who are segregated due to some skin ailments or some infectious diseases. So similarly, we have a COVID ward depending on the number of patients required, and obviously this gets augmented as the number of patients increases.
Right.
So it's a very standard procedure. Even in Ashwini in Mumbai, you have COVID wards.
Yeah.
Even in
Right.
base hospital Delhi, you have COVID wards.
Correct. So, any particular message or any particular, a rule that you would say to all the viewers who are watching today, in terms of the how to follow the protocol of the in the COVID times, and also the integrity, just to hold on and be integral in your own lives, in the civil lives. Any particular message or thought that you would like to share?
Okay. For both the questions, protocols to be followed during COVID for everyone is very simple. Keep your discipline. And remember, discipline is about self control, and
Yeah.
it's about thinking about the other person, not just yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
So follow the procedures strictly. That's it. I don't have to really elaborate that. And as far as integrity is concerned, integrity is all about saying, well, when I look in the mirror, when I look at myself, can I look at myself in the eyes, in the eye?
Yes, yes.
When I mean, you can run away from everyone, but you can't run away from your conscience.
Your own self.
So be true to yourself. That's all about integrity. And when you
Right.
develop that state of mind, then you will be trustworthy. People will trust you blindly.
Right, right. So I think with these notes and with these thoughts, we should leave our audience to think about this. And in the upcoming times, so we would like to invite you to have particular session with the youth in terms of joining the civil services. And we also see that a lot of civil services, like there are there are states which are strong in civil services, like, you know, the Punjab and all of these, Punjab, the Rajasthan, the Sikkim regiment. And we've always heard about, although I do understand that you yourself, I think you come from the south of India.
I'm a South Indian.
South
Yes.
India, yes. But there are pockets. But, you know, on a large, we do not see it expanding in various states. So maybe we can have in the coming times a particular sessions where we can promote, like, engineers and all such people, how to come in and just, it's not just देश भक्ति तो एक साइड में हो गई, पैशन एक साइड में हो गया, बट एक ड्यूटी टुवर्ड्स योर ओन सेल्फ, वो जो आपने आप अब बता रहे थे, जैसे आप बता रहे थे, द ड्यूटी टुवर्ड्स वन सेल्फ, right? So I think that would be a good thought that the viewers would be interested to listen to, and also the youth who is listening to us. The discipline is how you take care of yourself and how you take care of the person opposite to you. It is not
True.
taking care of yourself. And in the COVID times, we have seen that people have become so self-centered. बस मेरे को अपना पड़ा है सामने वाले की, you know,
Yes.
nobody is here
Very
to,
sad. That's very sad.
है
And
ना?
it's more about fear, अपनी जान की fear है. And that is why even when somebody contracts COVID in your society, you don't even go out to help him
Yeah,
because you're scared that you might get the disease. That's very
right,
sad.
right. Any other thoughts or any other going
No,
by
in the sense that
advice?
I have thoroughly enjoyed this session, and you've been very, the kind of questions you've posed have been really excellent. I think I've been able to add a lot of value through whatever you asked me, and I'm certainly sanguine to take this forward and have more sessions with you. I've really thoroughly enjoyed interacting with you. Thank you very much for this. For giving me this opportunity.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And while we are just saying goodbye on today's program, I would request each one of you to please follow the protocol and the advice given by Colonel Venkat to be disciplined. And discipline means not just taking care of yourself, but taking care of the person opposite to you. That is what is very important. And if we all try to do that, take the vaccination, follow the protocol, I think we will be able to beat this deadly virus in some time. And this is just a humble um, initiative by Association of International Educators and our Parigreh Foundation to help people to come out and talk to us. I also invite other personnels or any civilians to come on the platform. If you want to talk something to us, we are all ears. So, sir, we have also started something called Or Sunao. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Or Sunao is like you know, when you just want to be heard, you
Mm-hmm.
just want somebody to be there to hear you out. So we
Mm-hmm.
have started this another program by the hashtag Or Sunao. So hashtag Story of the Frontline Warriors is one program. Hashtag Or Sunao is the another drive that we are doing, and hashtag Meal to Heal. So we have been doing continuously these programs over the past few months. Just a little contribution to the society, and just to say that, you know, it's all right. We will all pull it together, and we just need to hold on to our faith, to our integrity, and we will pull it up and hold it. So
Definitely.
as a goodbye note, I would like to just, so I've just composed a poem which I read out every time that we close the session. It just says, I am safe, happy, healthy. My family is safe, happy, healthy. My community is safe, happy, healthy. My state is happy, is safe, happy, healthy. My country is happy, safe, happy, healthy. And my earth is safe, happy, healthy. I think if
Beautiful.
everybody just try to have this gratitude to oxygen, just
Beautiful.
saying gratitude to oxygen.
That's
So
very
it is,
nice.
yes. So just that this is just a little contribution, just a little drop in the vast ocean of the social work that needs to be done, but it is just the initiative of a
Very
few
nice.
people who have come together to do this initiative.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Ma'am,
Thank
I'll just
Sure,
tell
sir.
you one small thing before we
Yes,
sign
sir.
off. Your poem reminded me of the when we take the final steps in the Chetwood Hall of the Indian Military Academy, what we say or
Yes,
what
sir.
is enshrined there and what we see when we climb those
Yes,
steps.
sir.
The
Please.
safety, welfare, and honor of your country comes first, always and every time. The safety, honor, and welfare of the men you command comes next, always and every time. Your own safety, welfare, and honor comes last, always and every time. This is what we
Wonderful.
believe in.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I salute you for your dedicated work towards keeping me protected. I This is the just the word that I would like to say, and I would like to take this opportunity to say to all the army personnel that keeping me protected, I can only talk for myself, and you have kept the country protected, so all of us can sleep peacefully. Our children are protected, and they can sleep peacefully.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.